Broadcasting live for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. This is GRTS News at 2200 hours. The top stories: jobs, the economy, youth and infrastructure. Gambians express their priorities for President Barrow's second term in office.
During his inaugural speech, Barrow emphasized the need for governance in accordance with democratic
The Gambia's former High Commissioner to the UK, Honourable Francis Blaine, passes away on Friday. And a close look at food security efforts. Our reporters engage vegetable farmers facing the fresh upsurge of challenges in the horticultural sector. In sports, reviving up the Gambia's Made in Afcon venture, the Scorpions arrived at Camp Bafoussam ahead of Monday's knockout encounter against Guinea-Conakry in the Nations Cup round of 16. Away from home, the Saudi-led coalition denies the bombing of a Yemeni prison after airstrikes killed dozens on Friday.
And
Plus, rising tensions and more troops at the Ukrainian border. Russia and the United States are deepening diplomatic efforts to quell growing aggression over Ukraine. Tensions. Well, viewers, this and much more coming ahead in the news with me, Aminata E. Sanyang. This day. It's great to have you here. We begin with a close look at expectations for President Barrow's second term in office as the Gambian leader prepares to launch a new plan to guide the country's affairs for the next 5 years. Newsfile looks back at the gains registered in the president's first term while taking a ride down the metropolis for a chat with Gambians on their views and hopes for President Barrow's new mandate in office.
A look at expectations for the president's next 5-year term in office with Gambians exudes mixed feelings and opinions. For many, the previous 5-year term was a period of deep uncertainty, going back to the formation of the coalition government and the tide of good and bad times it came with, as expected during democratic transitions. Against all odds, the Gambian leader is clearly the majority's favorite, a people's leader they call him. Barrow presents a unifying force that offers a unique opportunity for growth.
He has done very well because there is democracy, you can talk what you feel like.
For the past 5 years, the Barrow administration has been guided by a focused blueprint. The National Development Plan 2018-2021 formed the basis of every undertaking. To consolidate the gains in this plan, infrastructural developments have been undertaken by almost all sectors to improve livelihoods and advance structural reforms for sustainability. At the highest citadel of learning, the UTG, young people have been making their own assessment of the past 5 years.
The president has done so many things in the past 5 years, particularly with regards to infrastructure.
He has done fairly well, to be fair to him. Yeah. But we hope that he could improve, and yeah, there are a lot of rooms for improvement.
I would say it's pretty good. As you see, like he's trying to focus more on infrastructure, building roads and other things. In that particular aspect, he's really doing fine.
And across the metropolis,
He did very well, and we're expecting more good of him presently.
So far, ninko sentwe munge ba hango munge ba.
Adama Barrow has won another 5 years. What will this mean for Gambians? Expectations for a better Gambia is the overarching objective by far, but what tops the list of priorities?
In fact, if you assess the youthful population, in fact, the insecurities that are happening, the crime rate, you find out that some of them are even graduates. So that goes a long way to tell you that, unemployment is causing a lot of havoc in this country.
You go to EFSTH right now, their laboratories, I'm not saying they're not functioning, but it's not actually catering for the needs of the patient, or at least for the bulk of their needs. People go out to private labs to conduct tests and all of that, and definitely the cost is so much to bear on the patients, and we hope that the area could be improved.
I would also like him to consider the youths more more often. Considering the university here, we want a very bigger one that can be able to accommodate every student and a very easy way to get it, like financially also, so that every youth can be privileged to just learn whatever you want to learn and be skilled.
The past weeks have seen a continuous rise in prices of essential commodities and bread shortages, but staring hopes towards an empowered youth that can walk freely in an atmosphere of adequate incentives seems to be a dominant discourse.
Saku sukuru wax nopi bidong diwlin wax nopi masay dini sernen yu sew yeb sernen
sukuru yi maalo yi everything diwlin ak yoy noonu dafa seer jën yi tamit lu nekk ñu ngi ko seeral dañ bëgg pour mu jàppale nit yi ndaw yi tamit ñu mën a leen jàppale ñu mën a am fu ñuy liggéey su ko defee dëkk bi mën a dem kanam.
But for Korea and Moses, who both look forward to better social infrastructure, road networks and the transportation sector must be revisited to enable productivity across the development spectrum.
The road network, we definitely need to look at that in the country. We can't continue. 10 years ago, these potholes have been here, all right? And they are still here. But we have a municipality within the country that is responsible. What are we doing about it?
The students, there is school bus, there is no school bus. The students are getting problem every day.
Some other additions include the reviving of the draft constitution and strengthening of democratic principles. The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, took the oath of office, sworn in to do just that on Wednesday, January 19.
Republic of the Gambia, according to law, so help me God.
During his inaugural speech, Barrow emphasized the need for governance in accordance with democratic principles, but also echoed the positioning of youth at the heart of nation building for the next 5 years.
I encourage the youth to take up the wide range of opportunities put at their disposal. It is certain that efforts would be wasted in the absence of peace, security and stability, job satisfaction, staff retention, better conditions of service, and a performing civil service of respectable professionals. On service to the nation, strict emphasis will be put on merit, performance and results.
Gambians are set and eager to embark on a renewed drive with Adama Barrow and his cabinet, who face a fresh challenge to reunite a very polarized nation and one that collectively yearns for better livelihoods and sustained growth. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Fatu Eliko.
Now, the Gambia's former High Commissioner to the UK, Honorable Francis Blaine, passed away on Friday, January 21st, 2022. Honorable Blaine was a crucial figure in the country's return to the international scene and its rejoining of the Commonwealth in 2018 following the 2016 coalition victory that ushered President Barrow to power. Alongside a deep commitment to global peace, which he advocated throughout his tenure at the helm of the Gambian emissary in the United Kingdom. Former High Commissioner Blaine was a strong promoter of diaspora participation in governance and national development. Honorable Blaine retired in June 2021 after working hard to revive and strengthen relations between the Gambia and United Kingdom. And to this media release, Commonwealth Secretary-General pledges full support to the Gambia State House, Banjul, 21st January 2022. And it reads, President Adama Barrow today received the Commonwealth Secretary-General, Honorable Patricia Scotland, at the State House in Banjul. Honorable Scotland is in Banjul as head of the Commonwealth delegation to President Barrow's second inauguration ceremony held on January 19th. The Commonwealth Secretary-General pledged her Secretariat's full support to the Gambia. She made the remarks following her audience with President Barrow. Honorable Scotland applauded the conduct of the presidential election, which she referred to as free and fair. She commended President Barrow's inaugural speech for being inclusive of all Gambians. She also praised Gambians' re-engagement with the Commonwealth as a positive move that will benefit the country and its people in many ways. In another development, Emperor Naruhito of Japan is amongst the latest world leaders to extend a message of well wishes and happiness for HE President Barrow and the prosperity of the people of the Gambia. The Japanese Prime Minister, His Excellency Kishida Fumio, also congratulated President Barrow for his re-election. Also, President Barrow received another message of best wishes from His Excellency Alassane Ouattara, President of the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire. Let's now shift attention to the agriculture sector, where the food security drive takes shape with more investments in vegetable production. But horticultural gardeners face a thread of challenges, including difficulties in accessing water to enhance their yield. GRTS visited vegetable gardens in the North Bank community of Kerawan, where our correspondent spoke with agricultural officials and horticultural farmers recently supported with vegetable seeds and garden materials before the start of the season.
Gardening is now transformed into a resourceful venture, though the process has its ups and downs, but today it is more lucrative compared to field crop production. Swara Haidara of Badibu Kerawan is a beneficiary to a recent seed distribution supported by the European Union. For the old woman and her colleagues, they have a good starting.
If we want bedding, if we want to narrate solar adina, bring Jaba a superman amende.
We got all the needed inputs and time, and that had really speed up our production.
At Dimbati, Nan and the Vivian and the other and that. A bocal had you got a zero into true combatandi. You are trying to love the Maronde.
Previously, access to seeds on time used to be our challenge, but for this year, we thank the government and its partners who supported us with viable seeds and even fertilizer.
Mbeten to Lola Babaket, bound to Kali to Rosola. It's a dose hamala sontable. But as I bring project on that, got Rosola Juna, got Senoka Juna, and Yam, doing a jumban will be a sort of walk on.
GRTS continues to explore the gains of farming, as well the day-to-day challenges farmers are faced with in the fight against hunger and food insecurity. This report lays emphasis on women in the front line, contributing to a sector that doesn't only feed the nation but sustain its economy. Normally after harvest, I do get up to around $10,000 to $20,000, though majority of my proceeds goes to the upkeeping of my family. If I can remember, last season I scored about $10,000 after harvest. Proceeds from here are used to finance my children's education and the smooth running of the day-to-day affairs of my family. Omar Sonko is a staff of the Agriculture Directorate in the region. The young lad works with farmers, introducing new technologies and some recommended practices.
We are also doing farmer field school activities, and then that one also is all geared toward building the capacity of farmers in terms of good agricultural practices. We train them on recommended practices, and this scheme, we are operating one, and then we will operate farmer field school on onion and then also on cabbage, and then we will follow recommended practices as it is in our program.
The government of His Excellency President Adama Barrow is transforming the agriculture sector into a more mechanized form to ensure a year-round food production in the country. Side by side with the farming community, more supports are expected to descend from the State House to the fields. For the news, I am Farmer Akani.
Organizers of the Janjanbureh Kankurang Festival have briefed members of the press on their state of preparedness for the 3-day cultural carnival marking the 5th edition of the biannual event, which celebrates the Gambia's masquerade traditions. Modulamin Sane tells us more.
This is one crucial occasion for organizers of the Janjanbureh Festival as they galvanize final efforts ahead of the 5th edition of the Janjanbureh Kankurang Festival. This media briefing at the Janjanbureh Youth Center is meant to update the public on the level of preparedness to stage another historic cultural event celebrating the Gambia's diverse masquerade traditions.
28 actually we will start with the official opening of the Kankurang Festival, where we will have the various stakeholders present and also a display of the different cultural groups. And basically with the cultural groups this year, as part of the preparations, we're targeting at least in every region to be represented by a cultural group. So meaning around the region from Brikama down to the Upper River region, we will be having about 10 different masquerades.
This year's festival in Janjanbureh is slated for 28th of January 2022, and organizers are moving to stage a bigger event with more attractions and cultural exhibition from groups in and outside the Gambia for a 3-day jamboree.
Saturday, which is the main day for the festival, for the first time we will have the intercultural and tourism dialogue. As he said, this is so important of bringing the sub-region together. We'll also have the Janjanbureh Marathon, but it's important to note that the Janjanbureh Marathon is now moved to Sunday because we are going to have the inauguration of the Janjanbureh Youth Center by Youth Empowerment Project Tekifi, and then of course the National Youth Council.
We'll be also looking at some river sporting activities that would include kayaking and as well as there will be swimming competition among young people, because as much as the festival is concerned, which is more of display of cultural activities, we also think including sports will be also very key and add value to what we are doing. So
this briefing is also a perfect platform for the publicity and marketing team to outline its planned program of activities for the event.
Sunday, we also want to utilize the importance of the Gambia River. That is why we are having the River Gambia Sport Day. We'll have fishing, we have kayaking, we have boat race, we have swimming. We have a series of activities that are lined up for the River Gambia Sport Day. And then, of course, we have the first edition of the Janjanbureh Marathon, which is partly supported.
The Janjanbureh Cultural Festival is one of the biggest cultural carnivals of the Smiling Coast, attracting a massive diversity of cultural displays, workshops, and exhibitions aimed to promoting community and cultural tourism. Modulamin Sane, reporting for GRTS News from the Central River region.
Data collectors from the Renewable Energy Potential in the Gambia project, REPGAM, concluded the first leg of a major nationwide tour of green energy facilities across the country. As Janke Toure reports, the delegation, under the leadership of Dr. Ibrahim Sanko, engaged beneficiary communities in the parts of the Upper, Central and North Bank regions.
A visiting delegation of data collectors from Renewable Energy Potentials in the Gambia, REPGAM project, have completed the first phase of data collection and mapping on the renewable energy priorities of beneficiary communities in rural Gambia. REPGAM officials have described the exercise as a fruitful and learning process which gathered enormous experience from communities.
I had a great experience with regards to this very exercise because we are collecting data on the solar power checklist, and this solar power checklist entails so many things. With regards to the environment, which is the space that the platform is going to be built, and also some of the socio-economic information, like the land use type around that area, and also the geographic information, the topography, the coordinate, the location of the area, and also some of the climate impact. Because if you look at all the areas we visited, there are different type of topography that we experience.
The solar electrification project is crucial as the country is moving towards mitigating the impact of climate change. Dr. Ibrahim Sanko, the Deputy Director of REPGAM project, noted that the project will not only help in the areas of climate change, but also help to reduce the cost spent on fuel, which is emitting carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide.
Renewable energy potential that we have in this country. You can see we have sun shining in every part of the country. So the project will change the livelihood because we interact with some of the beneficiaries. Some of them spend a lot of money to buy cash power to supply energy for their areas. So this project, at least, of course, will reduce that. So some of those costs can be diverted to other livelihood support.
Data collectors and mappers visited Koina and Misira village in URR, Kuntaur Wharf Town in CRR North, UTG Farafenye Campus, Gambia Songhai Initiative in Charming, as well as Karawan Town in the North Bank region. At Misira village in URR, which is a big community of about 3,000 residents situated northwest near Saremuta and Semi-Bajonki, villagers, mostly women who are traders, traveled early mornings for about 5 kilometers to cross a small river called Kajube to the other bank of the river in order to have quick access to Basse town. Villagers lament the struggles they faced on their way, which is usually dark. At the Gambia Songhai Agriculture Initiative in Charming, beneficiaries wanted solar energy to power their water pumping system for gardening and the upkeep of poultry.
We are here in Songhai, Gambia Songhai Initiative, where there is these projects are on gardening. And remember, you cannot do gardening year-round agriculture in the absence of water. And you need solar, renewable, to have water. For example, solar water pumping system so that you can have year-round agriculture.
As a way of mitigating the impact of climate change in the country, REPGAM officials are expected to visit beneficiaries in urban areas. Janke Ture, GRTS News.
As part of its countrywide implementation scheme, the Roots project recently concluded a 3-month training in the North Bank community of Kanuma. The activity is a new approach expected to build the capacity of beneficiary communities in agro-resilience. Our farmer Kanye visited one of the participants in Kanuma to gauge the impact of the intensive program.
Fofana has just completed a 3-month training conducted by the officials of the Roots project. At her small home in the village of Kanuma, she is prepared for her morning chores. Like most women in this part of the country, Jenaba's morning routines will include laundry accompanied by sweeping. To keep her environment clean, perhaps a visitor may come by. Her coursemates numbered 25. For the past 3 months, they had been exposed to many new skills. Months of learning, especially for adults of our nature, must be a demanding task. But with determination, they went through all the stages and are now prepared for the journey of knowledge transfer. She told GRTS her ambition of disseminating the knowledge learned, starting with her family. I now know that family care is a shared responsibility. I also know how to manage my income. In fact, I started saving money to take care of my future needs and perhaps even use some for investment. The concept is part of the implementation arrangements of the multi-million-dollar Roots project, which seeks to improve not only rural agriculture but even the capacity of communities in conformity to the changing trends of the modern world. Normally, I will use my various platforms to transfer the knowledge learned, and today many of my friends are coming on board because they are seeing the benefits. I believe my efforts are really paying dividend. Usman Sedi lives with Jenaba in the same compound. He confirmed the resourcefulness of the training and the series of benefits they derive from Jenaba's periodic evening lectures. This training has brought unity in our compound. Jenaba has encouraged many of us to create savings for our monies. Again, she has even inculcated in us the spirit of sharing responsibilities with our wives, and that's definitely a good improvement in our lives. Daifatu Haidara is one of her course mates. the young woman is busy cooking her afternoon meal. One of the benefits of the training gaining roots in our compound is the division of labor over household chores. The training has improved my family management skills. Since I started the course, it has brought a series of benefits to me and my family. We now dialogue over issues of interest. There is division of labor, and above all, it has brought peace and understanding within the family. In a meeting, Demba Sanyang, the regional coordinator of the Roots project, called on the beneficiaries to make best use of the knowledge learned. He also advised them to disseminate every bit of the lessons learned to their fellow villagers.
Ninga mutano nyofe, ibajalan si dimbal keno kilinti, sato si dia, sinkirol si dia.
The program is expected to provide beneficiaries with knowledge to promote all inclusiveness, as well address gender inequalities, empower women to participate in family decision-making over pertinent issues such as income generation and its expenditure. For the news, I am Famarakani.
Dr. Delores Blakely, an Asante Queen mother and community mayor of Harlem in the United States, has revealed plans for a multi-million-dollar investment initiative in the Gambia. She said the development project will focus in the areas of health, education, agriculture, and amongst others. Dr. Blakely made these remarks in an interview with Judges, where she explained the establishment of an ultra-modern state-of-the-art hospital, providing quality and affordable health services to the Gambian people. She used the opportunity to send her condolences to the bereaved families of the Bronx fire tragedy. More in this excerpt.
One of the needs we see is having a top sustainable hospital for mothers that are delivering children, babies in the world. High technology should be the top priority for life. And so we spoke to the First Lady concerning that. We talked about quality education. And there is billions of dollars have been raised in Senegal during the World Conference on Quality Education with France. And it was hosted by President Macky Sall in Senegal. And I attended that Quality Education World Conference of the United Nations. And for the girl child of raising money for quality education and not to leave out the women. The women are the first teachers. And so it behooves us to teach her. When you teach a woman, you teach a nation. And so Brianna is leading that which we raise for the quality of education over $1 billion. It is important that young people must till the soil and feed themselves. No one is going to feed you. You must feed yourselves. So young people have to be trained in agriculture, how to till your rich soil. Look at mangoes. Mango season, it rots and fall back into the soil. Why aren't we not harvesting as we pick the right mangoes and learn about canning, preserving mangoes for a rainy day? It is important, all of the natural resources, that you have a rich soil here. Oranges. I have eaten the best oranges in the world since I've been here. And we also looked at science and technology. The world is on the superhighway. Young people, I don't know where they get these phones from, but everybody has a phone. In the indigenous part of Mother Africa, they have a phone. So they are communicating with WhatsApp, whatever name you may call it. They are on the superhighway. But teach them what these gadgets and where the gadgets come from for the world. Science and technology is imperative in education and training of our young people.
Time now for sports. The Scorpions of the Gambia have set up a round of 16 tie with Guinea-Conakry after finishing second in Group F of the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations. Abdoulaye Diallo's winner secured the Gambia a famous victory against Tunisia, extending the Scorpions' impressive run in the debut AFCON tournament to 3 unbeaten games and a place in the next stage of the competition. From Limbe in Cameroon, MS Diallo reports.
It is 1-0. Very fine victory here for the Gambia.
AFCON 2021 will be etched in history for 2.5 million Gambians for generations to come, as the Scorpions extend an unbeatable streak in their first Nations Cup venture. Cameroon and the coastal city of Limbe in particular witnessed one of the fairy tale moments in the history of the competition, an indomitable Scorpions side announcing the Gambia's presence amongst the big boys of African football. Mainland Africa's tiniest country, the Gambia, ignited the very spirit of the game in their maiden appearance at the Continental Showpiece, which they came into as the lowest ranked team among the 24 competing countries. Coach Tom Saintfiet's charges stunned everyone by reaching the round of 16 of the 33rd edition of the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations in the most spectacular fashion. Scorpions' dream debut saw them finish second behind Mali by a single goal after an unbeaten run in the group stages. Having opened their AFCON campaign with a 1-0 win against Mauritania and drawing 1-1 with Mali, the Scorpions capped off Group F engagements with a resounding 1-0 win over Tunisia. Tom Saintfiet's side left it very late to strike their venom with a little sting to secure a famous win against the Tunisian Eagles and one of the tournament's favorites. The Carthage Eagles were the better of the two sides in the first half and could have taken the lead if not for the brilliance of Boubacar Gueye, who was outstanding in between the sticks, producing splendid saves to deny Tunisia, as well as this Jaziri penalty.
El Jaziri!
The best chance for the Eagles. Tunisia failed to translate their lion's share of possession into chances as they were frustrated by a very tactically organized Scorpions. The Gambia were a very different side in the second period as Tom Saintfiet made some tactical changes that left Tunisia pegged at the back a bit. Moussa Barrow was for the second consecutive game denied by the crossbar as his free kick rattled the woodwork in the 73rd minute before Abdoulaye Diallo won the game deep into stoppage time with a stunning strike.
The Gambia to win it! Oh, my word! What a dramatic finish!
Moussa Barrow traded a first field pass to Abdoulaye, who chested the ball down and rifled it into the back of the net with a staggering strike from the edge of the box. A resounding victory for the Gambia against one of the top teams in Africa, and a place in the knockout stages put the Scorpions on a history-making journey that makes them the best overachievers in a powerful run.
We want to give other players the opportunity to play, at least to experience AFCON, but we knew to maintain in the first half 0-0 and bring then different players in to force and score the winning goal. So everything was according game plan, and we are a team and we try to make as much as people happy on the pitch, off the pitch. It was all discussed, and the first half we had it difficult, but we fought, and the second half we took control over the game, and I'm so proud of it.
Goalkeeper Boubacar Gueye clearly the man of the match on his AFCON debut, with a brilliant clean sheet, and striker Mohamed Badamosi both credited the famous victory against Tunisia to a collective teamwork.
Every Gambian player is dreaming of playing this type of competitions. Like this is the most highest competition in African football, so it's indeed a great honor for me to be here. Not even without playing, just to be here with the squad is a great honor. So I'm really proud of myself. I'm really proud of the whole team and the whole country for their support. So it's indeed a great moment. So we're just happy and we try to live this moment. We just try to enjoy it.
This team has everything. It's the spirit we have. It's the heart we have on the pitch for our country. And it's the faith we have in Allah. So all together makes this team just an amazing group of guys.
The Gambia remains unbeaten in their 3 AFCON games as Tom Saintfiet's venomous Scorpions head to Bafoussam City in the highlands of Western Cameroon to face Guinea-Conakry on Monday. Omares Jallo, Giata Sport.
Well, the Scorpions to more wins. Now, earlier, the Gambia Scorpions arrived at Camp Bafoussam in Cameroon's western region ahead of their kick-out encounter against Guinea-Conakry, who will be without top Liverpool striker Naby Keita in the Nations Cup Round 16. The last 16 of AFCON 2021 starts on Sunday, January 23rd, with Gabon playing Burkina Faso and Nigeria facing Tunisia's Carthage Eagles. You're watching GRTS News, a recap of our top stories before we take leave of you. Or we will take a second break indeed and look at, first break rather, and when we return we look at international news. Welcome back. Time to look at major news making headline around the globe, beginning with the Saudi-led coalition, which has denied reports it bombed a prison in northern Yemen. Yemen's Houthi group says 77 people were killed and around 200 others wounded in Friday's attack. The United Nations says more strikes were reported elsewhere across the country, with children among the casualties. One attack on a telecommunications facility has disrupted internet services in large parts of the country. The Houthis on Monday attacked targets in the United Arab Emirates. 3 people died after an attack on oil facility in Abu Dhabi. The group says it was to retaliate against the UAE's role in a military offensive on Yemen last week. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned the latest strike. Let's take a listen.
The attack on Abu Dhabi is an escalation that is regrettable and, in my opinion, is a serious mistake, independently of the fact that it is unacceptable. The attack on Abu Dhabi.
Well, this is GRTS News, a recap of our top stories before we take leave of you. Jobs, the economy, youth and infrastructure, Gambians have been expressing their priorities for Barrow's second term in office. A lifetime of diplomacy supporting global peace, the Gambia's former High Commissioner to the UK, Honourable Francis Blaine, passed away on Friday. And a close look at national food security efforts, our reporters have been engaging vegetable farmers facing a fresh upsurge of challenges in the horticultural sector. And sports, reviving up Gambia's maiden AFCON venture, the Scorpions have arrived at Camp Bafoussam ahead of Monday's knockout encounter against Guinea-Conakry in the Nations Cup round of 16. Away from home, the Saudi-led coalition has denied the bombing of a Yemeni prison after airstrikes killed dozens on Friday. Plus, rising tensions and more troops at the Ukrainian border, Russia and the United States are deepening diplomatic efforts to quell growing aggression over Ukraine. Well, that's it for the news at 2200 hours. Thanks for watching. Stay with GRTS and enjoy the rest of our programs. Good night.